everybody, and welcome to episode 4 of Kharma's Card Reviews! Today I'm going to be reviewing the Bicycle Dinosaurs card deck. I am so incredibly excited to review this one because dinosaurs happens to be one of my most special interests. I know a lot of facts about dinosaurs, and I own a lot of dinosaur-themed furniture and knickknacks. You'll see it's still in its plastic wrap, but it's time for that to change. So, first things first, when looking at this box, I see the nice brown neutral color scheme that they're going for. You'll see that they have a nice tan color for the bicycle logo, a really nice dark brown for the central spade, and they have a medium brown for the dinosaur logo. Something that I absolutely love is the central design of this spade. You'll see that they made it look like dinosaur tooths jutting out from the spade. Plus, you'll even see that they have some of those inner details right there that almost kind of remind you of feathers, like you would see on a velociraptor. The back of the box is what I personally like the best because it always emulates what the back of the cards are going to end up looking like. And on here, you'll see just the insane amount of detail they have. First things I'm noticing is that it's symmetrical, so you'll see it's the same this way and this way. But also I'm noticing that they kept that T-Rex and the teeth marks and those feather-like looking designs. And they also incorporated more in the center of the card, as well as introduced a new olive green color right there. I also really like these side semicircles because I think that looks really neat. And you'll see that, again, they're going for that hexagon shape. It's in the background of the design. And you'll notice that they added these claws, these talons coming out from each corner. And those kind of remind me of the claws of like a Therizinosaurus almost. So that's really neat too. Look at the stamp seal that they used. It's a picture of a dinosaur, and it's just awesome. I love how they did that. You know, it's a unique stamp. It's not just a basic design. So overall, I will say for the box design, 10 out of 10. I think it looks really nice, and I really like the colors they chose for this deck. Alrighty, so after very carefully cutting open the stamp seal, because I do want to preserve as much of the sticker as I can, let's open this bad boy up. So, unlike Theory 11 decks, this does have a very basic interior. You never know with bicycle decks, like the Moana one had a really cool interior, but this one is just plain white. As you can see, I was correct in assuming that the back of the box emulated the back of the cards, and it looks so amazing. So, taking a first look at these cards, I'm already seeing the Jokers have very small dinosaurs. I'm curious as to exactly which small species this is going to be. Small guesses, I'm kind of assuming like Gallimimus or something similar, but I'm not 100% sure. And I'm also noticing that they color-coded them red and brown, so that already clues into what colors that they're going to be using, and that's really neat. Here we go! Looking at the Ace of Spades, it perfectly matches the one on the front of the box, which I absolutely love because it is a very cute design. And the color is like a very, very, very dark brown. It's not quite black. And you'll see that they went for like a very weathered pattern. It looks imperfect and like shaggy, and I think that's really neat to get across that fossil effect. Ooh, okay. Wow, looking at the Two of Spades, I'm seeing that they continued with like that rocky, shaggy effect, but you can see that they actually made the symbols 3D. So it actually looks like they're rocky fossils popping out from the card, and I think that's a really neat effect. I'm also noticing that they're going with the standard bicycle font. I will admit, like, the texture of it kind of reminds me of, like, a coprolite, which, for you dino nerds like me, you know what that joke means. Our Jack of Spades. It's definitely some sort of theropod, but I'm not sure exactly which one. But you will also see that toe talon, you know how it's, like, spiked up from the rest of the toes, which you also see in velociraptors. Oh, our Queen of Spades is the Spinosaurus! Now, I will warn you, my two favorite dinosaurs are the Spinosaurus and the Parasaurolophus. But the Parasaurolophus is slightly higher. I kind of think it's really neat. So that's really amazing. Now, it's kind of interesting because I'm curious when this deck was made because it doesn't exactly look like what modern findings assume a Spinosaurus to look like. We don't exactly get a side view, but that fin does look a little bit too short and stubby to be an actual anatomically correct Spinosaurus because modern findings think it has like a thicker tail, a taller tail, and like a very long spine. I'll have to show a picture up here, but so that's kind of interesting. But the skull shape, I think that they nailed pretty well. There we go, our King of Spades. Now, I want to think this is a Tyrannosaurus Rex, but it also could be another theropod because the arms look a little too short. But I'll have to see when it gets there. Oh, our Ace of Diamonds looks really neat. Now, they didn't do a special design like they did on the Ace of Spades, but they went for that rocky texture, and I really like the red that they chose because it's very toned down, and it kind of reminds you of like sandstone or like terracotta, like in nature. And so I think that that's really interesting, and I like the colors that they chose. You'll see that they repeated the design on the rest of the cards. Oh, here we go! Our Jack of Diamonds is none other than our favorite Ceratops, the Triceratops. So that's amazing! Wow, look at it! I absolutely love how they did the horns and the skull and how it looks like it's busting out of the frame. You'll see this tapered frame that they have. They overlaid the skull outside of it, so it looks like it's like walking out and gives that really neat 3D effect. Plus all the shadows and gradients, which I didn't mention on the others, but that looks really nice too. Ankylosaurus! This is another one of my favorites because it's in the same family as like the Pachycephalosaurus, which is another one of my all-time favorite dinosaurs. You'll see that this is really nice because they have that, you know, hammer-like tail, and you'll see the spikes that they have, and I think that's really awesome. Wow. Oh! Speak of the devil, earlier I was talking about a Therizinosaurus. Here we go. Here's a Therizinosaurus. So you'll see what makes it iconic is those really, really long claw marks. So that's really interesting that, like, I just said that, and then here we go. Our king of clubs is actually what's called a Plesiosaurus. You'll see it's an aquatic animal. But the interesting thing is I don't think that a Plesiosaurus is actually a dinosaur. I think it's just related to the family of Dinosauria. So that's actually really interesting that they put it in here because I don't believe that it's a dinosaur. Those and mosasaurs are somewhat similar because they're both aquatic living and they live fully in the water, and I think that's really interesting. And I love how they detailed it and detailed the pose. It's very like action-y. Oh my god! Here we go! The Parasaurolophus is our queen of clubs. I absolutely love that. The reasons I love the Parasaurolophus is just because I think it's such a unique dinosaur, specifically for its like head crest that you'll see right there. I mean, it's just extremely iconic and recognizable, as well as being like fairly well known, I feel. This one, it looks like it has it walking on just 2 feet, but I typically imagine it as like being a quadruped walking on all 4 feet, so that's kind of interesting. And did you know that the Parasaurolophus is like one of the only dinosaurs that we actually know what it could have sounded like? You know, in the Jurassic Park movies, you know, all those dinosaur noises are just made up, you know, they're just what we think dinosaurs could have sounded like. You know, we actually have no evidence that a Tyrannosaurus Rex would actually like make that giant guttural roar that it does. But the Parasaurolophus, we actually do have evidence for what we believe it could be, because scientists reconstructed a Parasaurolophus skull, and they blew air through the skull and through the chambers, and we actually produced like this air horn sound, and it's like really interesting. Our Jack of Clubs is Stegosaurus. I always love to see Stegosaurus. I know it's one of the more popular dinosaurs, along with, you know, Triceratops, T-Rex, all that. So that's really awesome that we got, you know, I feel like the most popular dinosaurs on these cards. A fun fact about Stegosaurus is that a lot of people don't actually know what the plates were used for. There's a lot of different theories, like, maybe it's like for temperature regulation, you know, they can store bloods in their plates. Other things are like, it's used for like mating, like attracting mates. I don't really know. And there's other things where it's like, you know, just to avoid predators and to make them look tough against predators. So there's a lot of theories, but none of them have been like fully like confirmed as to be the reason why they have plates. So I made jokes about the other cards looking like coprolites. The clubs definitely look like coprolites. Look at those perfect circles. It kind of looks like piles of poop, and I think that's really funny. I may be a little bit immature. But no, all jokes aside, these do look amazing, and I really like just how perfectly they made it. I mean, it kind of looks like footsteps a little bit. You know, like the 3 beats could be like 3 toes of a fossil, so I think that's actually really neat. Ooh, our King of Hearts is another sort of theropod. You can tell that it's easily a relative to the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Now, theropods I kind of got to brush up on because I just feel like there's so many and they all look so extremely similar. So I'm not 100% sure which exact one that this one is, but you will see that it's definitely a little bit different. You'll see that like the neck is a little bit more stout and the skull is a little bit larger compared to the T-Rex. So putting them side by side, you'll definitely see the differences. I mean, the arms on this one are definitely smaller than this one. Plus, you know, the skull shape, like I said, this one definitely has like a slightly longer neck, or maybe that's just the stance. And you'll also see that they color-coded it differently, but I don't know if that's on purpose or if they're just trying to match, like, the colors of the suits, you know what I mean? Ooh, our Queen of Hearts is a Brachiosaurus, you'll see. This is part of a family called, sauropods, and they're, they include, like, all the Brachiosauruses, Brontosauruses, Diplodocuses, all of those. And you'll see it's kind of interesting because they are very recognizable. And they are also, I feel like, one of the most popular sorts of dinosaurs. But what makes sauropods, sauropods, is like their big, heavy stands, their very wide legs, and of course, their very long necks. So sauropods are typically herbivores. They are not really meat eaters. And because, their long necks make it easier for grabbing leaves out of trees and such. Oh, our Jack of Hearts is a Pachycephalosaurus. Now, fun fact about the Pachycephalosaurus is that there is a relative of it called the Micropachycephalosaurus. Say that 10 times fast. And that is actually the longest dinosaur name to ever be named. So, fun fact. That is until I get my hands in paleontology and I name my own dinosaur. The Kharma Gentner is awesome and cool and funny and has awesome card review videos. A saurus. Now, Pachycephalosaurus is also very recognizable, mainly because of their giant crest at the top of their head. It is extremely thick and hard bone, and so a lot of speculations are that it was used for headbutting, for, defense or offense. And as I sort of mentioned earlier, Pachycephalosaurs are in the same sort of family group as Ankylosaurs, and they're part of the armored dinosaurs. Our hearts look really neat. I can't get over the 3D effect on every single card. I genuinely love it. I think it looks really nice. Oh, they gave me a magic card. Always love to see those. Oh, I didn't even know. They gave you a list. That's so neat. It gives you a list of all the dinosaurs that are in the deck. Ooh, should we test my knowledge? Oh, Velociraptor. Okay. I feel like I called that. I think I mentioned Velociraptor at some point. Yeah, when I talked about the toe. So I called that. I win that one. Spinosaurus, of course. Tyrannosaurus, Pachycephalosaurus, Brachiosaurus, Giganotosaurus. That's what the other theropod was. Where'd I put it? Now I see. This is the Giganotosaurus. Okay. Stegosaurus, of course. Saurolophus. That's interesting. They don't call it the Parasaur or the Parasaurolophus. They call it the Saurolophus, which I've never heard of that, so that's kind of interesting. Plesiosaurus, of course. Triceratops, Ankylosaurus, and Therizinosaurus. That's wonderful. So you know what? I'd say I got an 11 out of 12 on my dino guessing. Okay, so quick update. I just checked and I was right. The Plesiosaurus is not actually a dinosaur. It's just, a marine reptile. So that is kind of interesting that they put the Plesiosaurus in here rather than, another actual confirmed dinosaur. But you'd think that if they were going to put any non-dinosaur animal in this deck, it would be a pterodactyl. So that's really funny that they chose, like, Plesiosaur of all of them. But you know what? That's alright because the Plesiosaur, sick. Another thing that I kind of noticed was it made it extremely hard to determine that the Velociraptor in this deck was in fact a Velociraptor because Velociraptors have actually been confirmed to have feathers. It's unlike, the Jurassic Park movies and such because those are way bigger than they actually are in real life. And also, those ones only have scales and not feathers. So that's kind of interesting. I'm kind of curious when this deck came out because some of the information and illustrations seem slightly outdated. Now, I know that I did mention earlier that I have a lot of dinosaur-themed things just because I'm obsessed with dinosaurs, so I thought it would be fun to give you guys a tour of some of the stuff that I have. First things first, I have this cute and pudgy Triceratops ornament. I also have this golden Triceratops that I found at an antique store. I don't know who painted it gold and who puts a puffball on its nose, but I think it's absolutely hilarious. I also have this cardboard diorama of dinosaurs, so you'll see it has the Parasaurolophus, the Pachycephalosaurus, and the Ankylosaurus all here. I have this cardboard dinosaur that I got from Hobby Lobby that I've been meaning to paint, but right now he's just faceless. I have this dinosaur jigsaw puzzle that I have yet to do. See my Parasaurolophus. These dinosaur valentines that I'm going to give out come Valentine's Day. A container of plastic dinosaurs that I actually won at bingo. This jigsaw puzzle that is in the shape of a T-Rex and is made of wood. This Stegosaurus message board that I wrote a cute little face on and I kind of sort of lost the letters to. A teeny tiny dinosaur squishmallow. A big fluffy squishmallow. And another dinosaur squishmallow. I also have this giant dinosaur mirror. Got it from Hobby Lobby. a fourth dinosaur squishmallow. I have this dinosaur coat rack where each head is a dinosaur. I have this dinosaur painting I got at Hobby Lobby. I have this dinosaur backpack. And this dinosaur blanket that I got from Dollar Tree.